We're live.
All right. Hello there, world. We're back for another session of Mojo Reading. This is IG Coach.
This is Zaini
Demas.
Nige Mitchell.
Nige Ben.
Nijai Infiniti.
Nige Glenn.
Nige Neo Magus.
Nijai Cargo.
Yay! Awesome. Okay. So, as you guys know from following progress, the purification has been going on for a while now. It's now coming into later phases. So, I still have some cleanup to do for the week or so, but I have a good idea of the corrections for this time, and I'm starting to get a good idea of the trends, and we can start enjoying the benefits of the purification. So you kind of have the depression period where you realize, oh, I thought it was, but then you start coming outside as you start to put together new puzzle pieces that are actually correct and seeing more of the story. So with that going on, I think we've kind of discussed a bit the purification process and how it's been working for all of us. And then I have a nice little piece here of Genii females that have been updated. There's several of them. And so one thing I like to do is, after purification, is kind of putting together pools of different gender mojos and update it to kind of let me drink in this signal now that it's been more defined, it's been cleaned up. So today I actually extracted the Genii females, and we'll be doing several of these over the next few sessions.
Awesome.
I have initial thoughts about how the purification has been for them now and in the past as well, and then we can go to the document. Jolene, Demas, do you have anything?
Well, definitely. I mean, the one thing, because of this purification, like it was good that we added more Genii ladies and Nige ladies to the mix, and Nige ladies also that were hidden in the Zaini pool. I think that'll help a lot get more clarity as to what that signal looks like. I think I'm already feeling that. You know, I still feel it's kind of mixed in with the, you know, because we took those out of the Zaini pool. I'm sort of unsure about like the Zaini signal now. So you know, I think it'll feel good once I go through the collages, the updated collages, and kind of drink in that signal again. I think the end product will be, you know, a much clearer lens. I think I'm starting to feel that, you know, like a more complete lens with those added samples. But I think, like, you know, I feel kind of wobbly on the Zaini, but I think once I go through those and drink them in again, then like it'll be reset. Yeah, it'll be reset and it'll be supercharged because now I have signals from 3 other mojos that I, you know, were I feel were sort of lacking in my virtual village before. So.
And you were saying something about before about kind of like putting them all together now. That.
Oh yeah, that. I mean, it's basically you kind of covered it, but essentially that there's holes in our virtual village now. Like Zaini is like fragmented, so I can think of Zaini off the top of my head that weren't purified to some other mojo that is still Zaini. But for some reason, I need to see them together, like in order to coalesce what that signal is again right now.
Clean essence is. So that's what we're doing. We'll be going over tonight the Genii, and then next sessions we'll do like the Nige and Nige and Vijay, and we'll finish off by going into the Zaini, which a lot of those actually came out from. Not all, but many of them did. And that should hopefully help us reestablish the new cleaner signals. Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah,
incredible.
Relearning. Having some clean collages too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I'll be doing myself, I'll be working on the 10K, and I cleaned the 10K up so far with what I've done, and I'm going to do a final tour through it and then continue to clean up. So I'll keep that as the master copy, and then people can work off of that. I'm not going to have time to update all the other foldings, but I will offer that as media production credit on track 4. But everyone can use the 10K, well actually 12K master copy that I make. Sound good?
Cool.
And I will also try to do some extractions of different gender mojos to kind of highlight them for our sessions. Alrighty, you all set? Do you want to pull up then, unless anyone else has anything first? No? Okay, go ahead and pull up the G9 email. So this is fresh out of the presses, and so I still have some cleaning to do, but I like to sometimes put together a little section of what I've gathered, my new enlightenment. So this right here is how the press is what I believe is a more up-to-date understanding of the G9 email. So I myself am excited to kind of see what it looks like scrolling through. Scrolling through the collages really kind of helps build like an understanding of like an essence. So now we put a few more to give us that essence.
Oh, awesome.
Maybe a little smaller, yeah.
Fun. This is going to be real fun.
Let's do maybe say 10, 15 minute tour through, Charlene. People can just talk as they want or start a conversation, whatever, and then we'll move on to the quiz afterwards.
Can you guys all see this?
Yes, I
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
I'll just say for myself before going through, the one thing that
Oh, cool.
I had to really kind of take into account is, well, two things. One, the statuesque, the way they hold themselves, a bit more still. And then there's a pronounced energy in the mouth they can do off of their mouth not opening big. And I think I mistook that powerful energy that makes you really look at their mouth, like the localized G. But it's almost like a small area pucker, but when they do, it draws a lot of focus. And then you see here, like she's even doing a bit on the left where it's giving a lot of energy, but she doesn't have to, cheeks aren't really moving much yet, like her face isn't activated, but a good amount of emotive energy is coming out and kind of like
Totally.
her mouth.
It's
That combination of statue
almost perfect smile.
Yeah,
Without any effort.
Yeah, they do, and they do it a lot where they kind of do like, I like that word, but the effortless smile, and they're able to do this effortless smile while still keeping a lot of the steel cheeks. And so like the steel cheeks being held while having that effortless smile that does bring you to the mouth, I thought I was seeing like polar localized G, but it's actually this maneuver. So
If you think about G9, it just makes so much sense about that.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd be good at that.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like modeling and stuff like
Is
that.
it possible to get this uploaded to Script?
Yeah.
That would be a nice thing, actually. Get a little speedier thing going. Yeah.
Because I'd love to be able to scroll through some of these new, especially as we're once
Oh, yeah, Brandy. Wow.
Oh.
it's more slinky. It's slinky cat-like, but you see it there like on the left, it's like a sly big cat.
Yeah.
Briefly. They have like that very youthful energy, even.
Definitely very
later on.
vibrant.
True,
Very
yeah.
vibrant. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very, very nice.
So much sense as
Well,
G9.
full appeal.
It does.
Wow.
Now
I am gaining brain cells as we speak.
brain connections. Yeah.
Beautiful.
We're downloading the patch.
I
Yeah,
know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how I feel when I do
like the
these.
Matrix.
Like, the mouth. That mouth really pops.
Wow.
Ordered a raw soup.
Oh my goodness.
This is great.
A lot of top models, like supermodels, are G9.
The job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I always thought.
But they have a fullness to their face that the designee don't.
Knees on. They were
Yes.
Yeah, some had been
Look.
signed before, some need
Some
shy,
shiny.
some shiny.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the power players.
Some switch between Shiny and Tiny.
Commonality.
It's like, well, you're seeing G, but they're not in a tower.
Yeah, like her, Vijaya, she was Vijaya.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Full that energy in the mouth. I'm really zooming in on that
She was
mouth.
Zaini before.
Yeah, smart.
The Foster
But she's
sisters.
talking
Great poses.
about go over her. She's classic. That's like so much energy in the mouth without moving the rest of the face. It can kind of look like it's localized. It's not. In fact, I'm really seeing now, like on the left, that Ionic look that like her and Rebecca Romaine have, and like it makes full emoting quite quickly. I'm now associating what those lips are doing with what happens when they move them more.
Was she
that pouty?
She was in Zaini before.
Yeah.
90? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You're right. They do have those same steely eyes that the Ziny and Nizai tend to have.
Right.
It's the perfect pose every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's like Zai posing. It works very well.
Zai.
It's like
Because
composure and charisma at the same time.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like a big cat.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now it makes more sense now.
Yeah.
You always, I saw Jinez, but that thing too is like one thing that actually helped a lot too is actually seeing a lot of these other Jinai. Is there were other ones like Mariska Hargitay that we always were like not really feeling great about.
Yeah.
But being like the best explanation, but actually it was just Jinez, and we need to get closer in. You know what I mean? But actually having like other Jinai to go from like, oh, now precedent's a big deal. It really helps unlock you. You realize, oh, that mojo's there.
Yeah.
I've been asking myself for so long, I'm like, where are all the Jinai ladies? I certainly know they're not stage shy.
No, not.
Yeah, like it makes so much sense that they would actually be in this bubble. It's just conceptual
Completely.
more than Ziny, I think. Although there are some things.
You know what else attracts the Jinai guys who are sometimes the Jinai guys that are the most terrifying, like the Terminator girl.
Oh yeah, Christina Loken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they definitely do a lot of the girl empowerment kind of roles for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Like the fighter,
Mhm.
the female fighter.
Well, they are represented very strongly, like in MMA for real fighting. They show up there a lot, so it makes sense that when you're doing like a story about that, they'd be the most convincing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, being pilots, they're built for fronting, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
so this too, like help cover her. This another thing I watch out for too. So one was that sort of like the posing, and that tended to be one of the ones I thought might be Ziny. This is a different one, which is the ones I thought might be Ziny. Is I saw that she was like Jez Alpha, and then I saw she looked like that softness that goes with being interpretive.
Sure.
But then it seemed
Right.
so it doesn't seem pushy at all. Do you mean like it's very like?
Seems caring.
Yeah.
I noticed it does seem caring, but I guess why it threw me was I didn't feel like the pushing necessarily that normally goes along with the caring.
Then she could be the differential.
Like there on the left, it seems more like she's just listening warmly, which is G, but you know what I mean? It's sort of like faux yin use of it. And even there, it's kind of like a beaming smile, which is
Right.
you, but it's not as obvious as like say an obvious benevolent smile or baleful smile. This is more like a beaming smile.
Yes, totally.
I see
You know,
what you're saying.
have you seen CCH Pounder in like Warehouse 13? She plays the knowing, all knowing, all. She's the head of the whole thing. She knows everything about everything.
Well, I can see that being something like Oprah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oprah knows all.
Except how to get gas into her car.
Oh yeah. Well,
Well,
Beautiful.
Oh, she's
Beautiful.
she's Jinai. No, she's like Cristiano Ronaldo's girlfriend. Two-person, Shai. So that happens also. That phenomenon. That happens with the her of Jinai with Shai ladies.
Right.
Also happens in the
The way
reverse.
around.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
Interesting.
interesting.
yeah.
Wow.
makes way more sense than Ziny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Is once I pull them out and start seeing them, and then you put them together, then you're like, it seems so clear now.
Yeah.
But like before, when I had less
It's
data,
hard to break through.
It's hard to see through. But I love this part about the purification. Though, when you actually come to the other side, you start
Like
like
inertia.
And this part makes so much more sense.
It does. It feels so good. You're like, ah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. As you get more and more samples, first of all, there's more cross-contextualizing to help with accuracy, but then also the size of it. The psyche simply does not like to scale up with stupid. It's just too heavy. So as you fill in more and more puzzle pieces, it just wants to go right. Because otherwise, your brain's like, I'm not holding an algorithm this big with faulty numbers.
Vanna White.
Vanna White.
Yeah.
Perfect, Vanna White. Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It does.
It's those things too, like, at the time when you're like, seeing like Pat Sajak, Xenai, and then you see these other like Zenez couples, and then I'm seeing, you know what I mean? And I think like that kind of stuff could sway you. And at the time, it seems when you're like, I still talk about like the purifying, which I do like, is like realizing when you were possessed. Because like right there, I remember, my memory sucks in most things, but when it comes to like my project, I'm a fanatic. And I remember like when I was looking at Vanna White, and I thought I was seeing Zaini, but now I can
At
look
one
at
point, we were like Shiny because we were seeing
right.
it.
I thought I was seeing that, but I think I'm seeing Ji. And then two things there. One is I just didn't allow for the potentiality that she could be Jinai. Because like Charlene was saying, I was between two, and actually Jinai makes sense of why I was stuck between those two. But I wasn't allowing for that third option. And so I literally feel
Just
like,
didn't have enough.
Wow.
Right.
Looked
Yeah.
like.
I can feel my enlightenment expanding, that now I will look for that. Do you know what I mean? And that in that sample, I now have looked for that so I can see it. The other one is, I think I was in the throes of like realizing how many Zenez power couples were out there. And so within that kind of like state, I saw, Pat Sajak and Vanna White, and I think I let that overall trending motif lay on top that case I was watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, distorted things.
Distort things, because for him that happens a lot, like with Len Wiseman. Is Len Wiseman?
Len Wiseman and Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale. And also again with Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate, is where once yeah, thank you. Both actually. Both of them. Is that once I realized that I was under an incorrect spell, like I was feeling it. This is really high level. We talk about, you see, for example, a Nizai, and then they do a maneuver on you that hits you in a certain way that makes you feel like you've been hit by the maneuver of a Jaini. You interpret the maneuver incorrectly as a Jaini doing it to you. Okay, and then you misread. Later on, you're able to see past the maneuver to the actual engine, and you get the right answer. This also happens with storylines, where you're being hit by an inspirational storyline. You're like, oomph, okay, I feel like I just got hit by an inspirational storyline between two people. It feels complete. So you are reading a complete storyline, but then misreading which one it was. And it's weird, that happened several times where once I broke the spell, the Roman Polanski is actually Nijai. I'm like, but it seemed like that was an inspirational dance. And then I look at him like, Emmanuel Seigneur is Naiji, and it's weird, like they both sort of like my delusion dissolved on both of them kind of simultaneously.
That's amazing.
Because the case was actually, I felt some sort of inspirational storyline, but then I thought it was the wrong.
So you based it off of the variables, off of that concept of inspirational by identifying one of them, but that was because.
Definitely, because we talk about like the eyes
yes,
move you,
yes.
like the way a person's eyes move you, their mouth moves you, their gesturing moves you, but also things like how they dance with another person moves you, and you read that as well. It's very powerful in reading, but it can also, like all the other powerful reading drivers, it can also be a misread.
Yeah, it can lead you down the wrong
path
as to
sometimes.
what that story is
About.
Yeah.
Very cool. Is there any more to that? Or was that the end of it?
That was the end of it.
Okay, excellent. Any thoughts before we move on?
How much do you think of it is the meme of, women being not allowed to be adaptive and that kind of thing? How much do you think that played into the misreads?
I think probably there is several things going on. Me personally, I don't think I was anticipating seeing that mojo, and that is probably just a bias of myself from my own innate storyline, but also what I've known about pop culture so far. I took those everything everyone does, including myself, taking the expectation of my innate storyline plus all the data I've seen in my life so far when you ever look at a new case. But then as far as them being in there, I do think, and their riff, then I think there is also the qualities of like the people who hire them. I think they, because they're different than some of the more Lionic Genii we've seen. So I would definitely say I saw a trend in the kind of riff of Genii that was successful in the modeling. And so you'd have to think that's a combination of what kind of Genii females are into it, but then most definitely what the cultural expectations are of the people hiring for the photo shoots. So that would be in there as well. Yeah, and then I'd say third is probably the activity itself. The activity itself, it seems to actually have a lot of Xi, Ni, Xi, and Genii. So there's a lot of like Xi and Xi going on, giving off a certain look. So it seems like almost like the Xi is like the shutter in a camera, and each time it clicks, the Xi gives like an image, and those mojos seem to be good at that. But it is interesting that besides the Ni Xi, who obviously have those powers and are shapeshifters, the other two primary ones are so different. They're the Xi and the Genii, which are a Jez Alpha. And
there's some Nizai too, aren't
what's
there?
that?
There are a few Nizai there too, aren't there?
Yes, there are a few Nizai, but not nearly as many.
The
And actually, the other largest demographic is actually the Vijay, although they often don't seem to swim in the exact same waters as some of these other supermodel ones do. Of the supermodel ones, there seems to be like sheer cheeks of Xi and then giving expression with the Xi, and being able to hold it and repeat it. So to answer your question, Starglow, I'd say going on overall, there's me reading it. I have my issues that I have to get through being an IG and have my life experience. Then there's the career itself. What kind of Genii ladies want to get into it? What kind of hiring opportunities are there? And then the activity of a photo shoot, which I do think is going to require a lot of Xi.
Yeah, awareness and then G. Yeah.
Exactly. Calibrate and G. Calibrate and G. Just over and over and over again, be able to calibrate and G all day long to good effect.
And there seems to be a large percentage of your classic, what everybody thinks of as a classic Amazon woman in the Genii.
Interesting.
Very much so, yes.
That's a very good artistic observation. Yes, I was using the word statuesque, but yes, there's a bit of also like a proud yangness to it. So I like that. Yeah, it's like a statuesque Amazon. Mm-hmm. Almost like another word that comes to mind, which makes sense, the Amazon, where I was going with it, is almost like a superwoman. You know, where the Zini is almost like a statuesque where you can like put what you want on them, like so forth. With the Genii, it's sort of like they're strutting. And they're able to do that, which is interesting. They can strut while being statuesque. Mm-hmm. It's
the corresponding, though, to the classic Superman, though. The classic Superman motif is almost always a Genii.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. It's like we talked about before. How about the male and female Genii? Like, they both have this aspect of being specimens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's a specimen of a human right there. All right.
This is a bit of a tangent to Starglow's thing, but I would love to just see now that you've made that you've added more Genii, you've added more Ni-G, and you've added more Ni-Z. I'd love to see now what the percentage of directive women are versus adaptive women versus what it was in the past.
That's great.
Even out more because you're pulling them out of the Zini.
Exactly. I'm very curious.
Excellent point. Yes. So actually, once I get things cleaned up this week, this one hopefully my last week or so here, then we'll be updating the Rosetta Stone, putting up a new PDF. We'll be going over these cross sections here in the Google Hangout to review things, and then yes, I'd like to also do some statistical data on how the demographics of Mojo have shifted in the 10K since we last looked. That'd be great.
And we have the old data because of the old, and we still have the old data because of the old book. So
right.
We compare it.
Oh yes, exactly. Yes, see how it shifted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also that really brings in the power of the Mojo reading, how important it is, because each individual case is obviously a life and a work of art itself, but then it connects to all these other storylines, and then overall, like in these large trends, we're talking about how an entire industry is or isn't populated by innate natures. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty heady stuff when you realize what the data adds up to, because the 10K original was the most accurate story of what's going on with humans in the pop culture bubbles. But it wasn't the most accurate or complete. Now it's even more accurate and complete, will continue to be so, and you can see, like, the story is a different story than we thought. And as I mentioned before, the power of story. like most statehoods, most spiritual models, that's what gives them their power, right or wrong, is their power to interpret story and explain stories so people believe them and go along with it. So it's very important. That's why, you know, science, now Podlair is going to move over higher up the SS index, because needing something where, like, that's not the story of how water boils. And some actual way to do experiments, because people are saying, oh, water boils like this over here. No, it doesn't, and here's how you prove it. Basic falsifiability. That's one thing that my spirits tell me a lot when I'm doing the purification. It's like, ouch, this kind of hurts, I got things wrong. But they say that's the power of truth and a true process, is that it has falsifiability, the ability to actually find out when you didn't do the process correctly. So that's good to know, that it has the power to always correct itself, even when you don't feel like it. Because that's usually the issue. A lot of, like, the mysteries I had is like I'm looking at them now with a higher lens, and it's like the answer is right there, but I had personal reasons or lack of training reasons. But either way, it was a personal failing. And then you use the way to basically correct what you think you're doing, and then it gives you the conduct to be. Which is good, because as heroic as humans are, if you just come with your own idea over time, it starts to get biased, and you start getting attached to stories that aren't true. Do you mean, like, the Genii females not showing up? I didn't see that at first, but over time, I got used to that idea. I got comfortable with the story of the Genii females just for some reason aren't showing up very often. So that's a huge deal to correct not just the individual samples, but my understanding of the story of humans. So I'm very grateful that this method is here. The natural laws gives us a way to actually see what we're really doing instead of what we think we're doing. Good stuff. All right.
The biggest pieces have been the Genii update and for women, and the Nijez change in the world building with those.
Author.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's still boggling my mind. I'm still working that one out.
Oh, just, you know,
It's really awesome.
it took a lot of training and personal sacrifice to it was totally done. But I'm telling you, when I found out about Peter Jackson and George Martin, I was like, no!
Yeah.
Right now, when I first saw that, I was like, no! I mean, really, I was a baby. I was a big, weepy baby.
Based off of that, I would love to see a video on your new understandings of world building when you've got enough space behind that.
Yeah, that's what we want.
I do know one thing for sure, that's going to become a section in both Nijez's books, because it seems like world building is something they do together. We mentioned before with like Google and YouTube. There's all these like cutting edge like social entrepreneur thingies that tend to have a nice doing it. And now you realize that relationship of world building is in books and in movies as well. So I think like a great thing like Niji world building, Niji world building. That's a real sexy way to kind of connect their
Bring them together.
bring their storylines together.
Yeah.
Collaboration.
Very nice.
I know. Tolkien! Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm so really.
We're all like, yeah, it's on our side now.
It is what it is, though. It is what it is. And one thing I say is always make everything the most honorable when you look at it truthfully and conduct yourself accordingly.
That's key.
Because, for example, my spirits tell me, like Nexa told me, like you were moved by, you know, Tolkien, you're moved by George Martin, so that doesn't change. All it changes is you actually have a true understanding of the artist that moved you. So that elevates the whole thing. That means I understand the books better, I understand me better, and I understand the author better. So that's just better all around. So actually, when I look at that, I'm like, cool. Yes, George Martin's not an IG, but now I actually have a true understanding of that masterpiece, not a faulty one. You know what I mean? So I like to think that like when I actually am enjoying it, that I enjoy it at a higher level. But I had a false idea. You know what I mean? And it can feel good, but it's actually like a sickening comfort. It's not real comfort. And every time I kept going over George Martin, I'm like, why does he keep reminding me of Guillermo del Toro? And I tried to make it go away, like go away, but it wouldn't go away.
There's nothing higher than
The
truth.
way to make it soft.
It does.
Yeah.
The truth.
At the end.
It's like a truth weed. That thing's coming through.
The data is the data.
Truth.
The data is just like tapping you on your shoulder. Hey,
hey.
I'm this.
They're like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
No, you won't look at me. Look at me more. Why run away? Why run away? Don't act like you don't have time.
Why running away? Punk! Get out of here. You can't handle me.
It's funny too. That's happened all the time. Where I'll come back with a sample and I'll see the correct answer, and I think I knew it was the correct answer a while back, but I didn't want to see it, and so I'd go past the sample, I'd see in the collage, and it'd be looking at me like, you know you need to look at my video. And I would find some lame excuse, some stupid excuse, and I'm like, no, I'm good on this sample. I don't need to look into it. It's like, you know you can look, I'm busy. And you're like, no, you're not. You're scared.
I think we need to make a new TV show named Coach.
Alrighty. We all set then?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get into the quiz then. Boom, boom. This is a good show for anyone who wants to watch it. It's pretty cool. It's like a
Totally.
So where are the answers?
I have them 'cause I know them.
Okay, you know them. Okay, cool. So I'll go through the. Okay, Anson Mount. I put Nizy.
I said Nizy.
I said G.
I said Naiji. I mean Nizy, actually, is what I said. Sorry.
I said Naiji.
Nobody said G9? I said G9.
I was considering that.
Okay. Emil said Nizy.
And I said Naiji.
I said Niz. I have Nizy.
Alright, so everyone, you guys got close. Everyone's down to the Ni Alpha, and it was a Ni-G, I believe.
Oh, man.
Yay.
Tough.
But I was doing these during the purification, so I look forward to actually looking at that again
That's
and to
good
confirm.
steeliness.
But he does have a lot of steeliness. He
Yeah.
does.
That's what I
I
thought.
actually considered G naive.
Oh,
Yeah.
I considered
I
Nizy.
thought I was seeing G.
Yeah.
I do believe he's Ni-G, but I look forward to checking my work when we go over it in a second here.
I actually thought I got him. I thought he looked a little like Nikolai Coster-Waldau. Like I kept having him pop in my head, so I had both the Ni Alpha, and I was kind of just boggling back between both of them. And I was finally like, I had Nizy.
I found for me what helped on that one was to see him with the beard and without the beard. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
True,
Yeah.
true.
And then also seeing him by himself, obviously, but then also in an interview where he was doing it with Common, seeing their interaction, their humor,
Yes.
helped me as well.
Yeah. I thought I was seeing.
Those,
Let's say we'll look into
those
it.
wolf pack.
That's good. Can I have a show of hands for Nizy?
Naiji.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and anyone else? Okay, so it looks like 3. Okay.
How many people do we have here?
Have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 with Emil. And Emil got it right too, so it was 4 out of 9 actually. There you go. Okay, great. Phil Burke is the next one.
This is a toughie. Like I said, in the future I'll try to get more media than this, but we'll count him. But the other two will be extra credit. But he was, I think someone was mentioning that he was a little scant on media as well. He was. Apologies for that.
Okay, so I said Nizy for him.
I said Nizy.
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 Emil said Nizy.
I put Jaini.
I said Naiji.
It is Nizy.
Okay.
Nice. Funny, there's scant media, but that was what, 7 out of 8?
Yeah, yeah, that was, no, actually it was 8 out of 9.
8 out of 9. Wow, nice.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
Well, he was more classic.
He did a
with
lot of
that,
Jai.
too.
Yeah, he was kind of classic.
I
He
can
reminded
see
me
on Shiny.
of Brody and the, with those two brothers that are, I don't know.
The
The
Wilson brothers?
brothers.
Yeah, I got that riff too.
Yeah, those were kind of triggers.
I'm a little Jay Moore.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Kind of real friendly, but like there's a temper underneath it that's kind of a little edgy,
Mhm.
and also he's like he's a little beat up.
Yeah.
A little beat. Yeah. Who's else?
Okay, next up, Robin McLeavy. I said Nijai.
I said Nijai.
I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I said Nijai.
I said Nizai.
Okay, Emil said Nizai.
Dio? Vegas?
I put Nijai.
Starglow?
Nijai.
All right, good. You guys really dialed it in there. You all got Ni Alpha, and it is a Ni Shy.
Yeah.
It was really tight between either one.
She hit
More
me
samples,
really
and
hard.
he's working well. Stay with us.
Can I have a show of hands for who said Nijai on the? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Can I just mention something real quick?
Sure.
Sure.
With her, I didn't even really look at cues at all. She just hit me in a certain way, and I put. I just felt something interesting.
Yeah.
Like it felt inspirational. So I didn't even go down to the first 2 years on her.
I often try not to if I can, because I find the 4th, 5th year to be stronger and easier for me.
Yeah, there's just something, that hit me with her right away too.
You know, I gotta make myself go down in the lower gears because sometimes I do get like a lot of confidence right away in a certain direction.
Yeah, me
and,
too.
And I gotta check that.
Falsify it a little bit, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes those are like the best.
Yeah.
You know, like guesses.
Yeah, and she was one in particular, and a lot of these actually, where I ended up putting what was pretty much just my first instinct as soon as I looked at him. So.
Right. So what were the numbers here? How many correct?
4 out of 9.
4 of 9.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Who's next?
Next is Christopher Heyerdahl. I said 9G for him.
I said 9Z.
I said 9Z.
Ben?
Muted.
9Z.
Muted.
Glenn?
I said Nizy.
Good.
I said Nizy as well.
New Vegas?
Nijai.
Nizy.
It is Nizy.
Nice.
You guys dialed in there.
That was 7 out of 9.
Excellent.
All right, I need to say something. I need to say something about my habits ever since I started Podlayer. Whenever I think I see someone who's a Nijai, I know that often I'm wrong, and it's a Nizy. I've been making so far on 2 different samples. I made this Nijai to Nizy switch, and it's been successful. I still don't. I don't get it at all. I think at some point I want to talk about it, but I know that that's something I have to.
Definitely, but just there is a riff of Nijai that I had several misreads back in the day as Nizy for that reason, and I finally turned and I know I look for him now.
Back then we just didn't have a lot of Nijai mills.
No, we didn't.
I just need to understand it. I'm still very confused. I would have said Nijai clearly on both of the Nizys, and I would have been wrong.
We got it right. So Sully tips you the right way. I can go on that another time, actually.
I would really like that at some point.
7 out of 9, got it.
Okay, tell you what, if we have time, we'll go over that one as well. If not, we'll do it another time. But yeah, I don't know that is a mystery that does come up fairly commonly. Okay, so these last ones, too, are extra credit.
Yeah.
So if you get it, it counts for you. If not, don't worry about it.
Okay, this one, it's a toughie. Ben Esler, I said Nijai.
I said 9Z.
I said Nijai.
I said Nizy.
I said Nizy.
I said Nizy.
Emil said Zaini.
I said Nizy.
And I said, there was just not enough media, but I said Zaini.
All right, you guys actually were dialing in pretty good. He is a Nizy. So I think Emotional got Nizy, and then Starglow, you got the Sir, and then I think a few others were doing the Nijai Nizy swap. So you were seeing the
Yeah, and it was really interesting because I considered Nijai when I did them, but I ended up switching it to Nizy.
Yeah, so this is an interesting thing going on.
Yeah, his case in particular I was kind of freaking out about because, like, you guys just saw me right before. He was one I changed literally at the last minute when I was looking at it, and I was going to say Naiji at first. And, the mouth did look kind of expressive, but when I tried to falsify it, all of a sudden I just got knocked out of the perspective. It's like, I can't see Naiji anymore when I look at him. Like, even with the hitch, that's still
out there.
Yeah, it's like now I'm just riffing on a bunch of Nizes when I look at it. So I'm
Good call.
Yeah, I actually felt the same way you did, John, on that. I changed them, I think, last second.
What was it? I'm curious. What was it? The turn was the same kind of thing. It just sort of
exact same mojos. I first thought he was Naiji. I was like, yeah, he's probably the only Naiji on this thing because I actually thought that he was the only Naiji. Then last second I was like, actually, you know what? I think that's not Zai. I think that coolness is actually momentum for him. So I then changed it to Naizi. It was a bit tricky though. I had to like convince myself not to.
Well done, because there was not much media to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was logic, but I couldn't dial in whether he was adaptive or directive because the only interview
I see more gesturing.
I shot of his face.
Definitely,
Yeah.
and he also, I can see going sub-serve because he has a definitely kind of a faux yin way about him. In the interview I saw and also in the show, he plays kind of like twitchy beta.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm curious on that. We can talk afterwards. At least how you guys felt like from the show watching it, and then when you switched the videos, it was what you thought you were going to see, or if it ended up being something different. Like from Anson Mount, I thought Anson Mount was going to be a nice Z.
Yeah.
I did. The other people in the show, I read them correctly from watching the show, and when I went to the video, they ended up being what I thought they were from the show, except for Anson Mount, which is the lead, ironically. But he's Steely like all the time. He's like always doing Steely the entire show.
But I had never seen the show, and the first interview I got hit with the Naiji, that particular riff of Naiji that really is attractive to me. I got hit with that Naiji immediately, and I was like,
yeah, the guy's
100%
gallant quality to him. I like it as well.
Brawny sort of riff.
I don't even know why I was reminded of Matthew Fox from Lost. Just also kind of a little bit steely, no beard or anything like that, but steely for most of the show, and Naiji.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he has much charisma, but he does have the steely quality and kind of like exudes sort of a poised code of conduct about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the show, the Anson Mount character, he kind of like he's a rough character, but he always kind of exudes sort of like this. I have this code about me. If you don't get it, I have it.
He just exudes that. That's the main hit that I got was he exudes that code of conduct.
Definitely.
Yep.
I saw that especially, and I actually went with Jinai. So.
Gotcha.
I saw a lot of moodiness when I just looked at him. It just seemed like he had a lot of flex factor. I can't explain it.
Yeah, and in interviews, he definitely does more flex factor than on the show. On the show, he does flex factor very well, but he does like this understated thing. In fact, I think I've even seen like clips of they do like a mashup on YouTube of all his subtle G grunts. Because he does like he does like all these like Clint Eastwood-esque like steely G.
There you go.
Great. I gotta find that.
Okay, last one.
Can I have
a
show?
Oh, sorry, but there is one, a Naizi version. I know the Naizi version is from Chuck. You know the character of Adam Baldwin?
Oh, I love that actor. He's great.
Serenity is he also?
Yes, exactly. And he's always like in response to the hero stuff. There's like a clip out there of him just doing his Casey grunts. Just a Naizi. Symphony. All right, last one here.
Can I have a show of hands on who said Naizi for this last one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Mitchell, did you? 5. Okay, 5 with Glenn.
Nice. This seemed to really work, guys. We'll stay with this method.
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah.
Next is we have one more extra credit.
Dominique McElligott. And I said Naiji for her.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Nizai.
Yeah.
I said Naiji.
Wow, you guys are seeing the Naiji. I said Nizai.
Emil said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Jaini, but I'm still working on that Jaini Jinai thing.
No worries. You guys were all dialed in here. It was an IG, and then Stargirl, you were seeing Subram, and I think 2 other people were seeing the Nizai. That's a common mistake between the Naiji and Nizai. Especially he's kind of got a bit of that faux yin, kind of like KG cute quality.
I couldn't. I didn't actually look at any video footage because I couldn't find anything like that wasn't just like a scene of her. So I just went straight to the images for her.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth between Nizai and Naiji, but I just slightly tilted towards Naiji in my final decision process. I thought she had kind of this little bit of a secretive thing going on. I think that's
That's a very good observation, Neomegas. One thing I've noted about the Nai Mojo ladies that I was seeing a lot in this last purification, Naiji, Nai-Z, Ji-Nai, and Z-Nai, is really noticing that momentum Nai secretiveness. You know what I mean? Like, it's a part of Nai, but notice the females, particularly that river females, a lot of their, like, I'm getting my way. It's by, like, they just look at their eyes like, what? I'm playing a game, you don't know what it is. So I'm like, aha. Because it almost looks a bit like, you know, KG Bouncy.
Yeah.
Like a knee, but it's not. It's something else. It's like playful killer slinky.
Yeah.
But it's like, and they do this slinky kind of thing, and often they have like their little V perk ups, like they're being cute. I guess they are being cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're doing like, maybe cute's the wrong word. That they're being like, come hither.
And they are.
They are, but they're actually dominating. It's interesting that they're actually controlling the situation while being come hither.
It's so yin.
So artsy.
They're directing.
So amazing, yeah.
It's more like I dare you to come hither. It's not like come hither like a Nijai does it. It's like I dare you to come
exactly.
hither.
It's true. It does have like a bit of like
a challenge.
I dare you.
Right. Yes.
Very cool. All right. So which ones were more missed?
Looks like the most was Anson Mount.
Anson Mount, yeah.
And then looks like Robin McLeavy.
Okay, let's do those two, and then also do that one, the Nai-Z one he was wondering about. Sweet.
Sweet, okay. Christopher. Okay, let's do
He's
Anson.
like a really cool actor, by the way, like sweet guy.
He's awesome, that show.
Yeah.
I saw that. I never watched the show, but I saw that one scene in that one interview, and
right.
And he's one of the Valturi. He's one of the Valturi in Twilight.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has really great shape-shifting abilities because he's able to work on multiple projects at the same time, playing very different characters.
Which one?
All of them seem very believable, you know, like because Swede, he plays a Norwegian, right, in the Hell on Wheels, but his accent, you know, in the interviews, it's straight up American, and but he really can. And
he's
some
cool
people,
here, right?
I heard that they said that his Norwegian accent is not like realistic, but that aside, I couldn't, you know, I don't know authentic Norwegian, I guess, from inauthentic Norwegian, but I felt that he embodied this character really, really well.
Yeah.
He must though have really good Jai, because Jai mojos a lot of times are good linguistically.
Yes.
I've noticed, like, even, and they have a big interest in it, I guess. Like, I've seen, like, even, like, Christian Bale, he likes to always change, you know, accents in different movies. You know, some are more successful than others, of course, but that seems to be something that several of them like to do as a, you know, way of shape-shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to do with, like, playing around with their voice. The way that their Jai fluctuates with the voice and everything, kind of, I think.
Yeah.
Something to do with it.
And also it's that adaptive piece, because I notice when I am with people that speak a certain way with a certain accent, I tend to pick it up really heavily. So I'll sound like I'm from that place even when, you know, if I've been speaking to those somewhere from there, you know, someone from there.
Part of empathizing, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Empathizing, part of becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Naiji can do that too.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could.
Different way, different powers.
Different powers, they come out in different ways for every mojo, and then it's just every mojo has a unique way that they kind of go about learning the same things.
Different
Yeah.
Yes.
As an adaptive, I don't do it on purpose. It's like something that happens to me. Whereas I think maybe for the Naiji,
Yeah,
y'all
that's a
would
good point.
choose to take on an accent
That's a
that
good
would
point.
make people more comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Or
Talking about
to sort of hide or to
And how
play a role.
nicely like to change accent. We're talking about the Swede and how he, is really able to shape
Christian
shift.
Bale.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Well, so
So that's Kevin
okay,
Spacey,
here's
actually.
Ensign. I'm sharing Ensign Mount right now. Does someone, anyone need a screen share? Would that help? Or
Link.
let me
I
send.
think screen share, when we're doing the playback for other people later, the screen share makes it easier for them to follow along.
Yeah.
We'll screen share.
Oh, good point.
Okay,
Oh, let's do it.
here we go. Okay, so this is Anson Mount.
I want to start off with you talked a bit about shooting mentality. The show has such an amazing look to it, and it looks like you don't really, you don't see the film kind of shot in New Mexico or Arizona. I was wondering if you talk about what shooting and mentality really does to the show and how it helps you kind of build the story.
Yeah, well, there aren't too many places that can do Western segment right now.
Okay, what I'm noticing there is he's saying like there aren't too many ways you can do a Western. He's slowing his speech to make sure it's smooth and he doesn't mumble or stutter. And he says he wants. When he does, it's cooling. There's a cooling kind of like both the Jai and the Zai have a bit of a moan to it. His is a cool, kind of almost like engine moan when he goes on to the right. Then here, he's staring. This is actually classic right here. The way he's looking. This is a Jez Hunter. And it's interesting because his mouth is rather pursed with the Zai, but still, I'm curious if you guys can see it. He's looking at the interviewer, or looking out in general, and he's giving a very slight expression of, that's how I feel about that, and did you get me? The Nazi don't tend to give that sort of look. And it's interesting because he does a lot in the show as well, where he keeps himself rather impassive, but still it's a G of like, yeah, I said that, did you hear me? And even when it's being subtle, and even when it's upset with you, G mojos will still actually do that dichotomy, like saying something, looking at you of like, did you register me? Like basically, yes, I meant to do that, and then did you register me? So this here it's actually very subtle in the face, and probably increased in other parts, but even there being held, I see it.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing that the supermodels and stuff used to affect.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just like doing whatever with their G, and then just like looking at the camera.
Looking like hey there.
Like yes, I just did that.
Yeah, and it's a non-committal like, hey, how you doing?
Matt LeBlanc from Friends. How you doing?
Also,
Oh, okay. That happened real fast there, but I'll play it back. 1 second, let me play it back. Okay, well, first here, 40 seconds, you can see he's cooling on the right while he looks off to the left. That's a classic, something that Naiji will do when they're trying to get their thoughts together without committing to the public or the audience.
The cool drift.
The cool drift, exactly. He's drifting to get sort of like creative ideas, but tactically.
It's the cool drift.
He's kind of leaning on his right.
There. Okay. Did you see at, I think, 41 seconds, when he went deeper into that drift, he was doing a cool drift with a tilt, and then he went to a full look, and he closed his eyes to really get the nod. And he did this with his mouth. Oh, you guys can see me. You see me?
No, we can't.
Well,
okay, now we can.
Okay, but anyway, he closed his eyes, and he was like, he did this thing where he was letting, I mentioned before that now you should do this, letting the person know that he gave this serious thought. It was not the unconscious lip rolling of Jai mojos we talked about. So go play it back. He comes out of the drift, and he gives kind of like, all right. And like that's almost what he's saying in his mouth, like, all right, here's what I'm going to say.
Whoa.
So watch the lip rolling.
There.
There.
Yeah.
There again. That's what I was talking about. He did one side. There again.
Mm.
And right there. Did you see that look to the right? He did a quick look to the right, extremely tactical, with a slight hitch in the shoulder. Play back. It's around 45 seconds. Okay, I'll try to tell you what happens.
It's really not a tremendous film industry infrastructure there, and we have to fly in a lot of people, so that's very expensive. Calgary's got a very burgeoning.
There. Okay. He said Toronto, whatever, it has a very, and then his eye, you see it slipped to the right, paused, and came back, and he said burgeoning. That's classic Zai word selection. I'll play it back for you. I believe the word's burgeoning.
That's very expensive. Calgary's got a very burgeoning.
Burgeoning, you see it? So when he went to that word, that was not a Zai resonating to find the right word. That was a semantic word choice.
Which is for a show set in the 19th century. There has a lot of exteriors you can imagine that is. So we feel that Alberta is the closest that we can get to 19th century.
Also, can you see that his voice and his cheeks are being held down by the Zai? It does sound slightly monotone. It sounds cool stealing, but it is slightly monotone. If this was a Nai Z, this amount of Zs would sound more momentum, and he would probably most likely be speaking quicker. Usually when Nai Z speak as slow as he's speaking, ironically, you know what they sound like? They get the Zhai warble. They get the Zhai warble when they're going that slow. If a Nai Z's talking fast, it tends to get more crisp. He's the opposite. When he talks faster, he gets hotter. When he talks slow, like he's doing most of the time, it's stealing. Cool? Let's go in there and do the next one.
Well, I think the VP Center is not a any particular like benefit of not behind the scenes and all think about well.
Yeah, he's pretty much restraining himself with the Zai, but you did see him there like loosen up.
Why don't you switch over to him in the interview he does with Common? You might see some different interactions there. The last one. Although there he's warmer. Try the do one actually. That might be good. He's closer up and warmer.
Now, were you a fan of westerns before Hell on Wheels?
Yeah, I grew up watching westerns on the weekends. You know, when I grew up, we had 5 channels, 3 networks, PBS, and the local UHF channel. The local UHF channel would screen.
For thinking he might be Jinai, you can see that he gives a lot of G, but he's also rather judicious with his eye contact. Like right here, he actually is face front most of the time, but he doesn't lock his eyes most of the time.
He's more cagey.
More cagey.
And Ina would be right on locking in on the interviewer.
Well, I don't think
Exactly.
It was this interview that I because he has a shorter beard here. I was seeing like Matt Damon in the mouth for some reason. I just kind of like popped out to me, so that kind of made me go with that route. So, but it's like
Roscoe De La Hoya or
I
something.
actually considered G9 at one point, but then it's actually right on this footage I was watching, and I'm like, this guy has too much nervous energy to be a pilot.
Yeah. You're right. He styles his head around, touches his hair, looks towards the person. Does steeliness, looks at like their shoulder, their head, you know what I mean? Like he keeps moving it around, but yeah, it's definitely nervous.
Yeah, you can tell he's a hunter. He's subjective. His eyes are hooded, and
yeah, he doesn't have underwater.
Yeah, it looks more like it's just like let me chill out in space kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the way he is.
Cool. We'll move on to someone else then.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to get going into
The live reads.
the live reads by like 6:50 if possible.
Okay. Let's try Robin McLeavy. So that one was also 4 out of 9. I think most other people, it was like divided
Nizai?
between Nizai and
Can you take
Nizai.
this one, shall you? Did you get it right?
Yeah. Well, again, like, was it Neil Magus who said that you got just like a sense of her, like as Nizai?
Yeah, I started watching the video. I was just like, wow, I really like her. Not like a weird pervy kind of way or anything, but just.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear. Actually, she's very likable. You can tell.
Actually, that's one of the reasons why I thought Nijai too, is because I was like, I like her. She's cool.
Yeah.
I like the Jai glow that I get from signal that I get from Jennifer Lawrence too, for example.
Yeah, and it.
Yeah, even if they're being very stoic, there's just something about their face, like that still beaming Jai, that still jumps out at me, I guess.
And I think there's like the kind of Nijai riff in Ladies I like a lot. There's just a little hint of kind of this like devilishness, I could be a bad girl kind of thing going on or something. I don't know, there's something about that that just kind of like tickles me, you know.
Yeah, like playing cat and mouse game.
Cat and mouse, yeah. They got an overall like virtuous vibe, but then they like have like, but I can be naughty. And when they get them really like steely, sometimes they even almost look like they're a Xenai sometimes when they have like the real pugnacious. Like sometimes in the show she'll get like fired up. She has like the amble cheeks going like really hard. But still that mouth, one just separated from Nizai's, the mouth has that unconscious sort of puckering and rolling that Jai does, and then it's not being a Xenai, is that it's too much energy, it moves around too much. Like the Xenai, when they do the same kind of like board there, they have that pucker, but tend to stay in one position more. Where the Nijai tends to have a little more of like a wiggle and a quiver, a little more wiggly quiver to it. But still, it's more like, pugnacious.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, she was really tricky. I kept thinking, going back and forth between like Nizai, and then I ended up settling with Nizai because I thought that maybe I was seeing more coolness. But I did notice that
I actually did something very similar. Like in the first few seconds, I thought it was Nijai just from the 5th and 4th gear. But then I went down and I thought I changed my answer because I was unsure on the
discernments, right?
Like on the cheeks. I was unsure about the cheeks. So that caused me to change my answer. But if I just kept with that, then I would have had the right answer. So.
Yeah.
So if I the lesson learned here is to just when you feel like when it's to just after the first 10 seconds, like whatever it is, I'm joking. But I mean, but it's funny because if I'd done what you'd done, I would be on the right answer.
Right, and I mean, when Nijai get going, it's all serious. We look like logicals. It's not until we're feeling. It's not until we're listening or resonating that you can tell. You even see where the value base is.
You have to note it on the pause phases, and then also there's like a tremulousness sometimes in the voice and lips, and sometimes also in the fingers that you have to look for when they're doing their bracing, because like in the cheeks and most of the movement, it can be hard to tell. You'll just be seeing a lot of kind of fast freight train.
Sure.
Okay.
But I noticed that when they do it though, like the Nijai, when they do the fast freight train, they usually have like these pauses where they kind of look a bit like.
One second.
Okay, first of all, right off the bat, she's doing. There's the Jai lip roll right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what made me know it was Nijai, not Nizai.
Yeah, it looks innocent. It looks kind of like
innocent,
shy.
And also I noticed that the Nizai, when they do their pucker, just like the Nijai in a way, it has like this kind of like the mouse puckering like a bird. It kind of like rolls more together. Like Anson Mount, when he does rolls, there was like a precision to it, like womp womp, like he rolled his lips in and rolled them out, like he was making a word or something.
Yeah.
This unconsciousness, and also look at the unevenness. You see, like the lower side is going off to the left energy, and the upper side is more energy on the other side. And it's like roiling. I don't know. That as part of the innocence is that it doesn't look like it's actually. It's like she has energy there, but then the lips just kind of do what they do with the energy.
And she's doing it at the same time.
What's that?
gone underwater.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Very true.
Yeah, that smile. It went into her cheeks. Yeah, lip rolls.
Yeah.
The director really wanted me to watch.
Yeah, she tries to. She actually doesn't like to like spend a lot of time going to get stuff. She goes and gets it, but like she like really lights up when she's like goes back and connects with them. Yeah, you see those perk ups.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we need to start a game called Name That Mojo, where you could say, I can name that mojo in 10 seconds. And see if you can do it. Sorry.
There's going to be a quiz show like that, I'm sure, eventually. But
yeah, there you go.
We had like people reading like world championships. They'll be like,
oh yeah, like tournament. Yeah, you could even have like tournaments and shit, like two people side by side, like so you can get like higher or whatever. Like I don't know.
I can name that mojo in 3 seconds.
Or like
Name That Mojo.
with just their hand.
Oh goodness.
Oh, I'm sure that's gonna happen at some point. Like, or just like a finger, like just a finger. Let's see how far we can get it.
I can imagine like radio talk shows like we're gonna have like something like what's the name of this person? Call in to send in your answers or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love to have character-driven misery interviews, for example. And
Yeah, she keeps having those lighting up moments with her jaw.
Yep. I saw so much poignancy in there.
genre, which I didn't have before. I didn't realize how
Totally.
street
She'll like talk in Z and like do the head back and forth from knee to Z, like the double barreling, and then she'll have knee hooks
To the right.
dry sparkle. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
when it comes to
Yeah, whenever she processes it.
Just go weird.
Yeah, she does.
I tried to watch a bit of Hatchet too the other night, and what is it tonight?
I was still not the Swede yet. Let's go ahead and do the Swede. Try to get that done by 7.
Okay.
Like David Swede, right? You're making it a bit? Sure.
Yeah, and in this particular case, I want to know that why not a Nijai, why a Nizi?
Or why didn't you guess knees shy?
Did I guess Nijai?
I don't know. It was
I
nice.
think
A lot of these I thought they were Nijai, but I knew I had this just inherent feeling that they're probably going to be Nizi, so I automatically make the shift.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And I need to understand why. This is ongoing.
You're tracking it based on I know not to guess that.
Right.
Absolutely. He, of course, John drew it on Sanctuary, and the
I'm great.
Nice
to
see you.
That's true. I am actually a little intimidated when you're jumping. I try and stand
Okay,
back.
that's
But when I
Really soulful.
totally direct.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
a smidge.
So let's start with Hell on Wheels. This is a great show, super pretty, very, very real. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it tells a story of the. Okay, you can see the way he touches shit. Getting this thing in the hand when he throws it out there. It's you'll see continuously. There's a lot of
Boundaries there.
wizard hands, though.
Yeah, not Gumby so much. Another thing was also when you saw him
You
looking
have place
away
here.
and drifting, that was a comfortable drift.
Yeah.
And you'll notice a difference. Like he does some eye contact with Bruce, but he'll have a higher ratio of drifting off. But when he does it, it looks comfortable.
Of America, the American dream.
Also, his hand movements are too percussive.
They're all, they're right.
And overall, shoulders and heads too quick.
Fine city.
That squinting is the satisfaction in his eyes.
Yeah. It's not, these guys were
Good
prepared
point.
for what they would have to go through. And just like the weather up in California.
Also, that's slinky, not bobble.
Yeah. That's where we were.
I got thrown off by his hands.
What do you know about this project when you first got involved? I mean, obviously there's some cachet to the channel right
The
now.
cadence of his
and what
voice
you're
reminds me a
doing,
lot of James
you know,
Woods.
this is a really fascinating concept. And there's a real darkness in this whole show.
I was actually kind of reminded a little bit of Adrian Brody. Because they're both kind of tall.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian Brody, sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, trying to hit it and see what happens.
Yeah, that was very percussive movement that he did there, even to his feet.
Shot it, and the rest of the writing team was amazing. And the stuff that I had on my audition was different from the stuff that I did on my callback.
Yeah, see, he's looking away a lot.
So did you read
He does. He has a smooth game, but
and with the Norwegian accent.
a lot of eye contact.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the side they didn't say they call him the Swede, but he's Norwegian. It's actually a buddy of mine called me the night before and said, you know, he's a Polish.
He's just very animated as he's telling the story, sort of bardic delivery, and so people would probably not think that he isn't engaging, despite the fact that he's not keeping a lot of eye contact throughout the interview.
And then I read the next line, it says,
Yeah, he's not drifting a lot.
Yeah.
So,
and his voice has that Sam Elliott quality to me.
So let's have a little bit of a look at Christopher and
sort of like
that.
that.
Security for Mr. Thomas Duna.
He's awesome.
Norwegian.
Yeah,
I love this suit.
Yeah.
Americans now, even you rebels, yes. Daniel Johnson told me that the two of you was cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Why is that? Did you not like him?
He's my boss. That's about all there was to it.
And drinking companion, yes?
Who told her that, son?
I understand. The two of you was tearing it up, son, on the night he was murdered. In fact, you will see him leaving the saloon with him. So,
And that is any particular views for your character?
I can definitely endorse this show. You enjoy it.
My dear father.
It felt like a movie at that moment.
Put it on my list.
It's very, very good quality.
Yeah.
It's cool because a lot of the figures in there are actually historical figures. All right, you all set?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Can they see the Excel we show? Because I want to look up Anson.
If we
Don't.
well, they can't right now because we're not screen sharing.
Let's
so
keep
as
it
long
that way.
as we don't screen
All right,
share.
you guys close your eyes.
And us, okay.
Close your
So,
eyes, Amos.
see no evil.
They're closed. Give me a sample. It will be a good sample. All right. Let's see.
I think everyone remote doesn't have to keep their eyes closed, I think.
I'm noticing you guys.
I appreciate that you're doing it anyway.
I like where your head is.
So well.
There you go.
I saw Ben. He had his hand on
I think it's just the LA phone.
There's no chance it'll seep through the screen.
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
You never know. Just get like this vision of like just of like what's going on the computer.
So who is our? Okay.
There.
Oh, Erica Tazel, who's an actress. Erica Tazel.
How do you spell her last name?
Tazel.
Tazel.
Let's Tazel.
Tazel.
Tzel.
Tazel.
Yeah.
Hazel, but instead of Hazel, it's Tazel.
Tazel. Yeah, we do have. Yeah, we have enough media.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little something.
Yeah, actually, yeah, a lot of them. Okay, but one pretty big, so we'll start with that one. Okay. Here we go. First
My name is Erica Tazel, and I play U.S. Deputy Marshal Rachel Bliss. My name is Erica Tazel, and I play U.S. Deputy Marshal Rachel Bliss. I went through the regular audition process.
Hold on, before we go, let me Let me get the link for you, Glenn, because you probably need that, right?
Yeah. I think it's the straight shooter one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got that?
I opened it up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just opened the video.
Wait for later.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll look at that.
Imagine Tazel.
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 Taser.
Tazel.
You say Tazel, I say Tazel.
So are we all going to sync to the same timestamp or something?
I'm at 17 seconds right now, so
All right.
everyone wants to go back.
If you go to your YouTube app, it'll come up.
Yeah, some people don't
Yeah, if
have that.
you do have the YouTube app, then we'll all be.
And director who I'm eternally grateful to for bringing me in. And we had what's called a pre-read session, which typically happens with a new actor and casting director and everything for the first time.
Yeah,
And honestly, I didn't think I had a shot. I thought I was too young for the role. And it was great material. And I thought, well, this is an opportunity to play. And if anything, I'll go in the room and make a fan. And she insanely called me back for a producer session, and in that session I met a show creator and showrunner, and Carl Beverly and Sarah Timmerman and Michael Diller. And they offered me the role, and here I am 5 seasons later. Rachel is obviously a U.S. Marshal, and she's pretty by the book. She shoots straight from the hip. She doesn't suffer fools lightly. She's obviously a person of integrity and honesty and loyalty to her team and just in general in her life. And she's someone you want to have in the back alley if things go wrong. I think what drives Rachel is a passion for the work. She's certainly an ambitious woman, and what drives
looking
her
at
is
those
actually being
hips
respected by her
that
team
scene where she had just now during the shooting.
I don't know if she would actually say out loud
I guess
that
I've
she
seen
wants
more,
to succeed art per se, but I have always firmly believed that Rachel believed or saw herself as art's protege. We certainly a chief that has qualities that she admires and observes and watches for, and
I think I'm seeing a certain yangness in the gesturing, which not necessarily meaning directed, but something like something in the direction of either gather, pilot, or hunter.
It's tough because I'm such a softie compared to Rachel. The writers give us everything that we need, and I just look at the circumstances of that particular script, try to connect it to the last time we saw the character, and just really imagine the circumstances that the writers have created and go from there and just play. I certainly have my moments of quiet and meditation and devotion before I come here on set, because anything can happen, and it's the same.
I'd like to think that I'm seeing G.
No 2 days are alike. I think we also share a sense of observation. We may not say a lot, but we see a lot. And definitely love of family and
She's got strong emoting. I can tell.
Yes.
She's got what? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
She looks like she has strong emoting.
Yeah, I agree. I was hit with that as well.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it after the fact, and it was in season 1, the infamous hat scene, where Rachel and Raylan go down to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm seeing emoting, I think, on her eyebrow area, where she furrows.
She could get away with things that she would never be able to get away with. And then we had a similar scene that we shot.
I have a feeling I know what you think she is.
I love
because she was looking for a memory.
I guess I'm trying to falsify, but yeah, I think I'm getting I think I got a different sense.
Yeah, we're trying to falsify. We'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
Some things to Raylan that she's been wanting to say, just in terms of how she feels about that and what role she would like to play in that. Timothy has made me understand what the term leading man means. It's sure the show is about the guy in the hat and the guy of the poster, but he really does lead the charge every day, and so he's a gem, and he's a great example of not.
Do you guys notice anything as far as her tone of voice? Because certain things are hitting me about how there's a clarity of Zai that comes through in a Shimojo versus the warm engine of Zai with the Z delivery.
Yeah. So it's not as breathy as you know.
What's that? It's not as breathy like when she does the mode. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just be, this is just my observation.
I'm noticing I'm looking at the pictures because the video didn't work for me, but it looks like I'm seeing a kind of, it's hard to say exactly because I'm not sure if I'm seeing me or if I'm seeing V, but it does seem kind of more yang than V. There's something about.
Yeah, I do. I'm looking at pictures right now, but there is a brightness that's coming from, I think, perhaps.
Yeah, there's a brightness, and then there's also the way that her joints and her body is kind of. It looks kind of very solid. That kind of V kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, her body structure does look solid. I was it's weight bearing. I mean, I would agree.
Maybe it's even a little bit blocky. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me put on another interview. Maybe if this link will work better, Glenn.
Sure. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
But you guys said you think you're seeing G?
Sorry.
I'm noticing a lot of emoting. And I'm noticing.
You're not sure that G.
I don't want to say anything as far as
Too
that.
definitive like that.
I don't want to. I just feel like I want to say only what it is that I'm seeing.
I got you.
That's all I feel.
I only mentioned it because.
Yeah.
That's what you guys were saying before.
I think I'm seeing V motor movements too.
Yeah. I think I'm seeing a lot of emoting, emotive expression, and I do see it above the midline. I believe I'm seeing it here in the eyebrow area, in the eye area. I think I see when there's perk-ups, and I think I'm seeing a projective, and I'm tracking as far as her solid body, kind of tracking that.
Articulation though when she gets going.
What's that, Starglow?
I think I'm seeing the articulation when she actually gets going.
G articulation, you said? Z.
Z.
Interesting.
Oh, so you're noticing like a twang?
Here when she really gets going, talking.
Okay.
We'll have to hear that. That'll be interesting.
I don't know.
I'm still considering that too. I'm not so sure it's really G yet. I think it's a lot of emoting, but I'm still thinking.
Yeah.
A lot of emoting, but when she actually gets really going into articulation, what I think I'm seeing is Z.
Alright.
We'll have to see that.
Z. Oh, I see.
Let's pay some attention to her mouth.
Okay, so then here's another interview.
Hey, Anna.
Give you the link, Glenn.
Thank you.
The Red Carpet Report, and tonight we are in North Hollywood at the. Let's go. How are you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this does not look Z.
Good. So I have a lot of fans.
Just the way she came out seemed
they love how the show that
G.
you are powerful.
It also.
And
This here is looking warm.
There's that forwardness.
As she articulates. So just.
I'm curious what happens when she starts getting on a roll with her articulation, like what Starman was saying before.
everything that you would be playing.
Look at her mouth, though.
Not so much. I'm just grateful to not look like a girl
definitely, I see full emotive expression.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's see. Out there who are trying to hold it down in this male-heavy world. Speaking of males, how is it working with so many males in the cast? It's fun. I mean, it's a boys' club, and I get to be one of the boys. Tonight, I get to be a girl tonight. But
I haven't seen lip rolls, like shy lip rolls yet.
Yeah, like I've been looking for that. And I did want to consider the Z thing, but I don't know how much I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
John.
You know what I'm noticing?
Starting in 5 years.
I see that she paused, like, it seemed like she's pulling on the right there.
The next season being the last.
I think.
You know what I think I'm noticing? Like, I don't know what it is. I think maybe, like, when it comes to, like, the way that she's talking, the way she's articulating, it seems very easy for her, and so she kind of doesn't really feel the need to want to, like, show off a lot of range. So she's kind of, like, keeping it a little bit more lower as far as, like, expression goes.
That could be.
Character number one.
Her expression really goes to her eyes very easily.
Yeah, that's something that I was noticing. Is that the mowing seems like it's going into the eyes, and putting it in perspective, if that is the case, then we'd be comparing the Xi alpha to G alpha. In which case, I would lean more towards the Xi alpha in this case, for me personally.
Yeah, I would agree.
For me personally, you can see it. You might see it differently.
And then, as far as the perception powers,
The perception. She's looking smoothly, actually.
Yeah, she's looking.
Got a lot of this going on. Like.
It seems so. I don't know. I guess I think my opinion so far is I'm towards Genai with the potential new Jai. Those are kind of the two that are hitting
I would be between those two.
Yeah.
I'm leaning in the direction of Nijai.
Okay. But I don't know, something about her, the solidness of her movements, something about the bead in her eyes that I think I'm seeing, something about the, I'm also not seeing her eyes, like, I'm also seeing expression, I believe. Her eyes get overtaken, like even right now. I'm seeing emotiveness into her eyes. So that's kind of where it isn't a jive with me shy. But, I could be wrong, of course.
Where I'm leaning is definitely objective, probably Abram, if I had to make a choice. But I'm leaning Nijai, but that may be because I don't have enough of the update yet for Genai.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fair, definitely. Let's watch one more interview and then come with some sort of like first choice, second choice.
You guys watch what we do if you want as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, up to you. We can use for the rest of this sample, or we can
move on to another sample.
Yes.
Yeah. How many? We have one more sample beyond this, or two?
We have as many as actually we can get to. So it's up to us whether we want to spend more time.
I want you guys to actually also get used to like what's your rhythm, and if you feel like spending more time, that's a good thing. I'd like to know that, so don't feel rushed. Do what feels natural.
Yeah, I think 2 is pretty natural, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, and we usually try as like a standard to go at least 3. So.
That's right. And I think we're all kind of expecting something else now.
Yeah.
Since we don't like have a consensus.
Right. Yeah, maybe like
that is true. That is true.
Like
we need a tiebreaker.
This next interview seems to have also sort of a fuller body picture, so that may help us. We grab that one.
I made a list of all the places I wanted to visit. I'm still not going to make it to Mars, but thanks.
Here's the link for this one. Let's start.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, how are you staying so warm in this cold weather?
Oh, it's adrenaline right now. It's really excited to be here. This is
Also, another thing I want to throw out there, like, because we haven't talked about this, but like maybe Vijay. I don't know, just since we did
Yeah.
kind of going around with like G9 and Jai.
Well, that's a reasonable thing to add on.
Yeah.
Vijay, because yeah,
The
I
thing with
feel like
Vijay is I haven't seen any meet cues.
What's
You
that?
haven't- you haven't
No
seen-
one's really pointed out any meet cues.
Or you mean?
Haven't seen me.
Yeah, we haven't been focusing on the eyes enough, I don't think.
Okay.
No, but I was just saying because we were kind of between G9 and Jai, but I
Oh, in terms of perception, yeah.
I thought
And
we were
also, is the mouth popping out, or are the eyes popping out?
Well, I think like the emotive expression in the face has been jumping out to me.
Yeah.
And her mouth has been jumping out. Although her eyes, it comes in and out. Like she has some pops of where I'm like,
Sure.
drawn to her eyes at times.
Yeah.
Which is to be expected for, well, if she is like a G9. I mean, at some points, like, you would notice the eyes more.
Right.
Depending on the situation, of course.
Right.
There's a lot of expressioning that goes with the eyes. There's a lot of like welling up quality with the eyes. Sometimes they kind of get a lot of emotion there. Sometimes she tries to convey that through her eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, because like the moment of expressioning does go into the eyes for G9. So.
Yeah.
I think I may be leaning towards the G9 now on this video.
Yeah, I think this pause right here somehow is reminding me as like. Okay, so this one also, this pause also gives me, but the one before that I had to explain was looked like Kelly Ripa, the way she holds her face and does G, just
G alpha, right?
yeah, she's a G vibe, but like that was you know, like striking me as similar was how they held the face with G and Zai held that smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
That was reminding me, but again, it's
The thing with G,
In my work.
what's that? Sorry, Mitchell, go ahead.
it always mutes my microphone. Whenever it starts, I don't know why that happens. Anyway, it's like I'm always talking, and then I start talking, and it mutes my microphone. I don't know. Anyway, the thing with G Alpha, their eyebrows have this quality, like this sort of arch quality, like, I mean, it's not the shape, it's like the way it kind of meshes with their expression. Where
Right.
has
They use it as a way to, as a tool.
They use it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not detached from it, and I think it's really a discernment lead thing that I'm noticing. I think the same thing with Shiny.
Yeah.
Actually,
I noticed it a lot with Jez Alpha before, and the eyebrows have this quality of being very in on their emotive expression, and I do think I'm seeing something like that with her.
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Mitchell, because I was watching a video, an interview with Norton Graham, with Matt LeBlanc from Friends, and he does a lot of this like really interesting kind of eyebrow movement where he like his eyebrows, they have like a lot of range to them. They kind of like move all like this kind of, and it seems really interesting to see that.
Oh yeah, you know I can do that thing where they can tell you exactly what they're thinking with just their eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is a part of that non-verbal articulate. They can convey a lot with it.
If you look at the freeze frame right now, like if you look at the expression she's making, it looks super aware to me. Just like.
Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah, it's just like a huge you know, emotive reaction, aware reaction to what to the interviewer.
Right.
Yeah, versus an unaware. Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, when it comes to the Nai-Ji, they tend to have like a poise to them. But when it comes to the Ji-Nai, what would be the equivalent of that? Because they do have this kind of like chest out, kind of heroic kind of look to them sometimes. And
that's
yeah, it's very forward moving.
Yeah, I think it's poise versus You know, where
Yeah.
they just have a substantial presence to them.
Yeah, like a chord
Yeah.
one as opposed to like, because I think V alpha could have presence. Maybe.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
They have,
this
like,
is more like a moving forward, like taking
I don't know.
ground.
I'm not commenting on this sample.
Yeah, but
But in general, it would be, I guess, poise and sway.
poison sway. Okay.
For any of the G mojos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their worldview gives them poise, and the G would give them sway.
Okay.
Poison.
Oh gosh, I haven't done it enough yet. Well, tonight I sort of feel fun and flirty, so I'll go with that. Yeah. How did you hear about Baby Innocence? I have friends and my manager, a really good friend with me, the organizer.
Getting things of Janet Jackson, and that's why I'm like
We were
trying
just
to.
talking about my
Yeah, I'm also getting reminded of Janet Jackson. Sure.
By the way, what is her mojo? She's, I think, a neat guy, right?
She's an Asian.
Vijay, which is what
Vijay.
A Vijay.
Was that recently changed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She was as Vijay, but then she got changed to Vijay recently. Her and LaToya Jackson, both.
Yeah. So it's actually
not
inspirational. Eh?
No, it's not inspirational.
Yeah, it's Naiji Vijay family.
Look at that.
Not that uncommon among like
Yeah.
star types.
That's not uncommon.
Yes, totally.
She does really like rock out in her music videos, and it's like really like it hit me in a very visceral kind of way.
That's something Naiji and Vijay kind of do. And they get together on that.
Naiji to Vijay, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
She kind of does remind me of a little bit of like Oprah, not necessarily in terms of like a younger, more kind of smaller kind of Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Because I guess I'm like trying to also wash over because I get some Shinai things, but I also get some Vijay ones, like Hidden Panettiere sometimes cross my mind, but I'm trying, but I believe I'm seeing notedness into her eyes. I mean,
Yeah, the other thing for me is the G and the Jai.
Like,
I'm almost sure I'm seeing V. Period.
Yeah.
I'm not. I do think that I am seeing V, but I don't know that I'm seeing it with Jai.
Right.
I don't know that I'm seeing it with
And I think you would agree, Mitchell, that you can see like some fleshiness, but it doesn't seem to be like the pervasive kind of thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to have that earthy quality to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not earthy.
No, she doesn't. Yeah, overall.
I could be wrong, but I'm not getting that earthy feel.
I'm getting a little bit of it. I feel like
a little.
But not like a lot.
Yeah. Way more finesse.
Yes, that's a good word to use. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, more finesse.
Swag.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the pictures, the screen share, for images, and yeah, I get
I'm seeing a lot
poised.
of mouth.
Yeah.
I see a lot of like properness.
Yeah, taking I think I'm seeing
In almost every picture.
her taking ground.
The perfect pose. It's that striking the perfect pose, I think, again.
Yeah. She has that perfect smart.
Whereas when I look at Janet Jackson, her mouth is a lot looser.
Looser. It's interesting. So you're kind of going off of the more adaptive kind of like.
Yeah, that and a Jai.
Exactly. Yeah.
Quality, where the G has more of a purposely. I'm putting my mouth in its place.
Even this looks more face.
Even the adaptives have that kind of. The Zai mojos have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because like I think with directives, like if you do something on your left, you kind of feel compelled to want to do the same thing on your right to kind of like even it out. Otherwise, it kind of like stays in your mind. Like I just did 3 juts to the left, and I only did 2 to the right, and I need to do another one on the right to make it easy.
There's like the symmetry aspect of it.
Yeah, like a symmetry.
Even cross our
I wonder
mind.
if boxers think like that. I jab a lot to the left. I need to jab on the right. There we go.
You don't.
Cross your mind.
Yeah, and then there's the broken rhythm part of it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like Ni Alpha. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
you don't want to keep doing the same thing. You got to change it up.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, so are we to a point where we guess?
I feel like I want to
Yeah.
guess now. I feel like
Yeah, I think it's
I
time.
feel like we'll probably not go the full way.
So am I right? Try to capture. So we like is our first choice by far like Shinai, and then having like Nijai as like a second possible one.
Yeah.
I think so.
I like
Yeah,
that
I
idea
think
of
so.
like a first guess and a second guess and maybe a third guess if we have one.
Yeah,
I
let's have
like
three.
that. I like that concept.
Let's have 3.
Okay.
This is great. This is good to know.
So our first guess is Nijai, and our third guess is Vijay.
Gold,
Hey,
silver,
got it.
bronze.
She's Jinai.
Yeah.
What about?
Good.
I thought.
You know that was
Gina.
perfect. I was listening in the whole time. It was really cool hearing guys your chatter back and forth. You kind of zoned in on different things, but you didn't close. You just kind of like said what you said. You batted back and forth, and then you started going with the Jinai, and then you kind of falsified with the Nijai and the Vijay. You like entertained that. Like you kind of set up Jinai, and you're like, wait a minute, let me see. She's not this or this. You tried that, falsified, came back to the Jinai. Excellent. That was great. And you all had some really nice contributions all around. Well done.
Yeah. Awesome work.
Awesome.
2 things that I want to mention. One, that was the first one. The other one is that the energy that you guys feel towards this sample, I think was, I think you probably agree, is contributed a lot by having everyone here and being in this group, like the camaraderie. So I've mentioned this before in my blogs and the places, and I think you can really see it here, why I always try to get Nexi to come with me when I do Mojari, because batting it back and forth really makes it a lot more interesting. And like asking, is it this, like that back and forth, you can do it with your other. It helps a great deal. So to help like a way that might be easier to do it, instead of just thinking my other, is finding media that you like. For example, I do all this kind of thing all the time, but recently with Spider-Man 2, when the character of Gwen Stacy died, I really liked that character. I like the actress that plays
Oh
her.
my God. Shit, I haven't seen that movie yet. You just
Why did you spoil it?
Everyone knows Gwen Stacy dies. Who doesn't know that?
If you're familiar with
I haven't seen
Okay, you are no Spider-Man
I am
fan.
so
If
behind
you
the
not
times.
know
Okay,
Gwen Stacy died, she died like 20
I haven't
years
seen the
ago.
second one yet.
How do you think Mary Jane Watson gets
I didn't gets here. Oh goodness. Okay.
Nobody reads the comics anymore, Coach.
It's in Wikipedia. All right. Anyway.
Sorry for the spoilers.
Spoiler. Anyway.
Oh well,
So,
whatever.
when-
I'm sure
when
it's
that
still a very
happened-
good movie. I'm sure I'll still enjoy it.
Okay, so when that happened, I got kind of attached to her character, that spirit, and so something I do commonly is I'll change the story, and I'll do that by kind of like having what happened there somehow tangentially go to like March Manifesto. In this case, as often happens, her spirit didn't really end there. That's just like an earthly thing, and she actually got whisked away into Martian Manifesto land, and she hangs out. And so it's a nice way to like hang out characters I like. I'll hang out Tyrion, I'll hang out with Daenerys, and I'll ask Daenerys, hey Daenerys, what do you think about this person here? Are they Jinai? Or is the Nijai like you? And she'll sometimes say, no, that's not like me. She's cool, but she's not Nijai like me. Literally, that back and forth, what you guys did here in a group, you can do within your
It's like spiritual inquiry. I love it.
It definitely, and so, but it's very important to do rituals to learn it. So, like doing it here in this kind of think tank we're doing, it helps you learn those muscles, so that you can work them when you're by yourself. Because sometimes it can be hard to figure out, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like when I tell you guys, like, you know, visualizing your spirit and so forth, like this. Try to actually visualize this kind of exchange you had, because it's perfect. Tonight, what you guys did, that was a classic investigation, well done from start to finish. And so kind of just remembering that camaraderie, you can kind of like get yourself in that headspace. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
And obviously the more we work it in like, you know, live action groups, the more you'll be able to do like, you know, spirit form versions of that on your own.
Yeah.
So cool. We're getting better at our group hunting and our solo hunting.
Yeah, it's great that you mentioned Spider-Man 2 because I actually just watched that movie today as well. and it was kind of like really impacted me, the storyline between both Andrew Garfield and Gwen Stacy's characters. It was, you know, I really got into it. I really fell in love with both of them being together. And then when that moment came, it really just kind of like, it felt really sad. And it was really good though. But I mean, you know, it was powerful.
I
totally
it was a very sad moment because it's like you want to, you have that feeling of they're inspirational and they're such a good match, you know, and they're going forward and you like have so many expectations in your mind, of them going forward and what their future would hold together, you know, because it seemed so like to bring out the best out of one another, I guess. So it was a sad moment when that happened, but also that speech that.
It stuck around with me for a while, and then I was like, oh, like how am I gonna, you know? But then then I got to like where the ending of the movie, where was the speech, like you said, and it was about hope, and that was like powerful as well.
Definitely. And do you feel when you get moved by that, Glenn, that there can be a desire to like want to hang out with those characters for a while? It feels good to like honor them and be with them. I find that's a very high calling, and it's a very also artistic kind of experience, spiritual artistic. And if you can honorably, and your spirits I think will be totally for this, leverage that into talking about, like I did on camera, talking about a given point. In this case, what my spirits are suggesting is leveraging any time that you feel strong, like spiritual stuff, artistic stuff, like a Starglow, characters from Outlander are moving you. Summon them when you do anything, not just mojo reading, but mojo reading is a great way to train you for life, of basically summoning those spirits with you while you do various activities. And generally your spirits will like mojo reading, the kind of headspace you get into when you read like Game of Thrones, you get voyeuristic and you're trying to like really take it all in. That's a great headspace for mojo reading. And you can use your affinity with the characters, the story, the land, and the book, whatever, to kind of take you there. Also, it can be places like groves, like Jai groves. There are different places that I find very comforting and put me in a good place that often I've never seen, that they don't really exist in the world. I've read about them. I know that feeling. Places from Lord of the Rings, places from Game of Thrones, places from Dragonlance. They're like places in there. They're like groves. And I can visualize that, so I feel like I'm in that grove and not where I'm actually at physically. And I tell you for sure that I get a bonus to my mojo reading when I do that. But it's higher than that because I actually get just Jai bonuses all around for doing that. But mojo reading is a really good way to get your spirits to kind of like agree to give you bonuses. Because just about every spirit you can think of with different pod powers, there's a very advantageous reason for doing mojo reading. And so if you actually ask them to join in, they frequently will. It's a good way to kind of like start your spiritual practice because those things are so tacit. It's kind of like building a flame. You're not quite sure if you're actually making a spark or not. Try that simple experiment. Take anything you're doing that you are being moved by, but particularly something that has either a place or a person, real or imagined, you feel strongly towards, and try to associate that with the mojo reading process, place or person or both. I use this all the time. I imagine Jailene and Ademus are with me during the day when they're not. I imagine my dad and my mom are with me when they're not. I imagine the authors of Game of Thrones, which is why I'm very happy I know that person's a Nijai now, because I frequently ask George Martin to hang out with me while I read people. So it's a technique I don't know if I've spoken of a lot, but it's very, very effective. And it works for people, which may be more G-oriented, but also Jai place. I also do separately associate like special places I like, and I kind of like imagine I'm there, and then I'll imagine that the computer screen is like, a looking glass. Like this video screen is actually inside a pool, a lake, a mirror, something like that, and imagining that actually gives me bonuses to the read. So something to experiment with. I think you might like it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Anything before we sign off?
Yeah, just more on that, like the Jai. It's kind of like when you mentioned grove. I think of like a happy place kind of thing, right? That's kind of like
yeah. I imagine it depends. Different kinds of things. Happy, safe is another one. Invigorating, cleansing. There's a lot of different things that it do. But I kind of feel like in like a video game where your character goes anywhere, where you like, and you go inside and just like heals everything.
Yeah.
Levels you up.
Right.
Really nurturing place.
One of the healing pools, or any of those.
Yeah. And the word that we've been using recently is not just healing, because healing is a huge part of it, but blessing. And Jai gives many blessings, and healing is a big one. But even if the character is like already healthy and doesn't need healing, it'll make a hero feel braver, make them feel more virtuous and immune to being like possessed by toxic things. Like it can give all kinds of blessings above just being healthy. It can, so it's really kind of cool. It's a full service blessing station.
I like the word grace. I use the word grace a lot.
Oh, I like that.
And purified.
Purified, yeah.
Purifying.
Yep. Peace, harmony, purification. I like all of those, definitely, for sure. Excellent. That was a great discussion. That was a wonderful thing, and it was great having 2 new people on here. You gave good energy.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see y'all down here. I feel like I'm back in my old role-playing game days with a good group of friends. Geeking out. I was always thinking, like, is there some way I can do role-playing games, like save the world and do it? Like, yes, there is.
And the whole world is a role-playing game that has like.
That's how you do it. Alrighty, so that was wonderful, and I will post some new samples out tomorrow for this week's quiz.
Excellent.
Okay.
I
guess we'll see most of you actually tomorrow for the Najez pipeline stuff.
Yep.
Sounds good. Okay, look forward to it. Have a great evening.
Have a great night, everyone.
That was lots of fun. Well done.
Yeah.
Great stuff.